Hello, once again. This is Streetians Podcast. Welcome to a new episode. I'm your boy, Adeboy. Today, we're going to be talking about this Mohbad issue. He's known as Mohbad. I know his name is Imole. And his death is something that has hit Nigerians hard because of the way it came suddenly and because of the controversy generally around it. And so we have decided to share our own opinions about it, basically the things we've heard and what we've been able to piece together from the entire thing. Honestly, a lot of music fans know his music, but until his death, they didn't really know him in terms of the way he looks or this is his image. But like a lot of our beloved musicians that have left us, sometimes it is when they leave that their popularity grows even more. And now people now start talking about them. It's not the first time that we've heard that a musician died, but a lot of the things that are surrounded the way he died, the kind of things he went through is really heartbreaking. And we feel like it only makes sense for us to talk about it and also get different opinions on the matter. And joining me as usual is Emmanuel Ade and Dayo Olamide. And today also we'll be having James Oyebajo and Temitope George on the recording so that we can all share our own ideas. And basically, this episode is not just about talking about the circumstances of his death, but it's more of a recording that we're trying to dedicate to his memory. It's a painful loss for the music industry, and we just hope that his family finds the fortitude to bear the loss. Ade, when you heard the news, I'm sure you probably, like every other person, is like, okay, this guy died. But then I'm sure there was a point where you now started hearing the gist about this is what happened. So this is what happened. How did it strike you initially?
Bro, the funny part was, I think a day or 2 days before the news of his death came up, I saw a video where one of his friends was talking and the person said his manager, or should I say his management team, the people who signed him, should not actually be seen as good guys. That if anything happens to Mohbad, they will come out and be like, he was loved, he tried for them, they tried for him, he was a good guy and stuff like that. That we shouldn't believe what they are saying. That there was a day the guy was going through a lot. Like, he was going through a lot throughout the period, but there was a particular day he was going through so much, he wanted to commit suicide. Then his wife called him, that's Mohbad's friend, and he had to come over to the house to, talk him out of doing what he wanted to do, which is committing suicide. So I saw that video a day or 2 days before. And then that particular day, I heard Mohbad was dead. And then I wondered, how come? Like, things are not supposed to get this bad. Then I started seeing clips of Portable at big shout to Honest Bunch. And I saw a video where Portable was talking about you have to speak out when things are bad. That you shouldn't just let it go down. So the more you speak, the people that actually want to hurt you would even get scared of trying to get at you and stuff like that. And someone said something. The person actually posted that video just to make a point that Mohbad did all of this.
But nobody
Spoke
heard
out.
him.
Exactly. Spoke out. But people didn't turn up for him. Nobody actually fought for him. The people who actually fought for him probably didn't pull it well enough. Or probably the person he was with, the group he was with, were more arrogant or took it way too far than the outsiders could expect. So I think for me, it is really emotional. When you listen to rap, you know that things they go on normal.
Yeah.
Because when rappers tell you what they are going through and everything. So knowing that something goes on like this is really, really bad, to the point where you are damaging somebody's reputation because he decided he doesn't want to work along with you anymore and stuff like that. And it's just crazy. We are here on Mohbad though, and we are here on the concept of managerial and team efforts on artists and the rest. If not, I would have also mentioned how his gist has caused people in the movie industry also to come out and say things that are going on their side too. It's really crazy.
James, I want to bring you in at this point. I'm sure all of us here, we are music fans and we know the guy's music. I like his music, but I would not say that I was ever a follower, the way I would say maybe, the songs on my phone. And honestly, if we are being real, a lot of people too will probably just have him maybe on their playlist because they like maybe one song or the other. But being a fan is one thing. Being a human being is another thing. For me, I feel like it is unfair. Just like at this point, you talk about don't keep quiet, don't keep quiet. Someone crying out, talking about the struggles, not just in his music, but also in terms of videos that had been posted, lives that he has done when he was being beaten somewhere where something was going on. And
Mm.
we didn't really get people's reaction. The anger of people did not really come up until the guy died. Like, what does that say about say about us as a society? Is it that we have become delusional in the times of well, the rappers, they'll get it, they'll figure it out. It's not just their lifestyle. Or is it that he didn't speak out enough? What do you think?
What I think about it, it's something general in the society. When you see, for example, you see someone involved in an accident, and people are more concerned with bringing out their phones to make a
You
video of what is
record.
happening rather than get help for that person. You understand? And Nigerians too believe that it's not my business and it's not happening to me. Let me just face the other way. Because how can we be? I'm not putting myself out of that box
Yeah.
because
We are
I
all in
listen I
Nigerians.
listen
Yeah.
to I listen to Mohbad song and you hear someone that's in pain,
Yeah.
someone that's seeking help.
Mm.
And it's quite
Mm.
common for us. We always say this thing: if no be money you want follow me discuss, I beg, I no get time
Time. Yeah.
for your
We
time. I don't
jokingly
get
say
time for
it.
you. It's a joke. But
Mm.
sometimes you see people they say, this person committed suicide, and you say he didn't speak out. Now I told someone one day, say, this guy did not speak out. I said, you yourself posted a week ago that anything we no concern money, I beg no disturb my DM.
Mm.
How would you expect someone like that to feel when he sees your status and it's like, omo, how I won't follow and talk this matter? Say if I talk am now, say no go just feel say I dey rant. He said
Man,
get problem.
honestly, that angle you took it to is very deep. Very, very deep.
Mm.
Mm.
That's what we do in Nigeria. We don't try to listen when people need help. We are more concerned with the help we would give that will give us accolades and glory. So you get
Mm.
because now they are posting. I saw a video today when his former record label boss and the rest of them were beating him up. You beating up a blown artist. It was someone else from another building that was making the video. Like, look at the way they are beating
Mm.
Mohbad. It's Mohbad for crying out loud. Mohbad has sang Talos Obeko. Mohbad is a big artist in Nigeria, and we are seeing a video of them beating him up. And all the while, all these videos that are so bad, nobody is posting it and saying, okay, even if the police will not do anything, we
Mm.
are putting it out there for people
Mm.
to see what is happening. Now they are blacklisting normally they are not listening to Liski songs and all that kind of thing. You should have put in that effort when he was alive. Like, you guys can't do this and just go away with
And
it.
go with it. Yeah.
But now he's dead and we are all doing medicine after death. Showing concern, posting videos, things should have posted and would have raised alarm on it. They're posting it now that he's dead. The guy is topping charts now. The
Well,
guy is topping
I'm
charts as a
telling you,
dead
number one in
person.
Nigeria after that.
It's crazy. So that
I,
shows how negligent we are to people's cry for help. It's a
Dio,
general thing.
okay, to what he said now, we know that okay, from like time immemorial, from even if you listen to the rap of people like Tupac, and this is about their struggle on the streets, how they're
Yeah.
going to shoot somebody, how somebody's going to this and that, and even back home too, we know they'll talk about the street, the trenches, the what you go through, and this and that. And
Yeah.
so sometimes you may not really be able to say for sure if this guy is just trying to form hood or is really from the hood or something. There was a time I listened to one comedy by Dave Chappelle. He was talking about as a
My
black
guy.
person, he's always jealous when he hears rappers talk about the hood because he didn't really
Mm.
grow up in the hood. He
In
cannot
the
really
wood,
relate,
yeah.
but he kind of wishes that he has those stories to tell too. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
just use that as a reference that sometimes when we look at those rappers, look at MI for instance, we know he's a big
Mm.
boy, cool guy, but then he also
Mm.
raps about some of those things too. So it may
Mm.
kind of put so much out there that you may not be conscious of exactly what is going on. But for you, if you look at the Mohbad issue and the way everything unfolded, and now people are doing hashtag justice for Mohbad, is there really any kind of justice that makes sense for someone who is dead?
Is this question an open question?
And let me throw it open for
In my opinion, I would say there could be justice. Even though someone is dead, yes, you can seek justice for that person so that those that are complicit to this whole event would pay, not by dying, but
yeah.
it's going to affect their careers, it's going to affect their daily lives. You're going to feel like you've done this, you've done this is grievous, and you're going to pay for it. Because when they just go on like nothing happened, it's going to happen to someone else soon enough.
Again.
If we don't use these people as a call to caution, because it definitely can be justice. It's still justice, because if it's going to be more painful when you know that yes, those that contributed to this guy dying, they are paying for it. It's not like they paid, they are paying. It has to be a payment structure that continues.
Continuous payment structure.
Yes, because they are still alive. Nobody's wishing them dead.
Yeah.
It has to be a structure that would continue.
Sometimes
I said
the
something this
finality
afternoon.
of death is too
Yes,
simple for some
it's too
offense.
merciful. It's too merciful. Because I said it this afternoon. I said the only reason that can make Mali and the names that are being called around this whole controversy, the only reason why their names can be a little bit soft pedaled on is if there is an irrefutable evidence that shows that they did not actually kill him, like snuff the life out of him. They didn't orchestrate it, but
Yeah.
they will still pay because they brought the endless pain, the emotional trauma
Torture, yeah.
from the physical abuse and the
Assault.
rest, making him depressed. All those accusations against him, you know, a blown artist being in a set of a video and someone coming to say they want to beat him up, if not for the intervention of somebody else. You know, walking down to a club and some people just come and beat you up. They contributed to that. And that is enough for them to pay, because now everyone is linking one or two together. Normally mentions something cartel. I can't remember that word. And when you look at a cartel in the real sense of it, it's like a group of dangerous men. And someone said yesterday, said the record label is a cult group in the industry. That is what it is, because they try to do things. Have you listened to Zinoliski talk recently? It sounds like a Naira twin brother. Their mannerism is so similar,
The accent,
the
everything.
accent, the way they speak, you know, it tells the way they do their things. They are more like they are running this kind of in-house kind of record label. Already people are posting videos of them when maybe they are watching Sound City. I saw it today, and Sound City was playing Zeno's song, and the guy was like, who they hear Zeno for here? Change and no. The guy just took remote and changed it to one useless program. He said he'd rather watch this than. I saw videos of people breaking his picture and burning it. Now they're already being blacklisted. He has lost normally has lost like over 100,000 followers on Spotify. Some people are already blacklisting him, removing him from their follows list. They are already saying they are not listening to his music. You know, that kind of thing. The blacklisting is coming, and I think that's a worthy payment for what happened, because you can't do this kind of thing and continue to stay relevant. The
As
more you
if nothing
continue to stay
happened.
relevant, you continue to poison other people, poison younger generations, and the industry will become a mess when things
And I
like
think
this continue to happen.
it also, when that retribution comes, it helps to, more to your point, kind of create a little bit, because I know it can't be perfect, but a little bit of sanity to the industry, where
To the
others
industry.
who are, because like I think it was Ade that mentioned that a lot of people are coming out now to say, in fact,
They are going through this
Stray
and that.
Bullet is meeting a lot of people now. Like people are calling out Olamide, people are calling out this person, calling out that person. I'm like, so there's a lot of gist that people are keeping quiet about, things that they are going through, whether it's true or not. You know, things sometimes people capitalize on situations like this to just bring out their own personal
People,
issues
with personal
with
grievances.
other, but then what it tells us is that there's something going on that is beyond what we have always known. Dio, I have there's a feeling I have towards the way Mohbad was buried, and I kind of feel like the entire thing. Number one, I would understand if he was a Muslim. You know, there's this thing they need to do, but this guy is not a Muslim. The circumstances surrounding his death is still shrouded in mystery. Now,
So
the
sketchy.
body itself that is supposed to be what will be able to serve as an evidence for like autopsy. Although I know the police already said that it's not too late to exhume him. But what's the point of going through the whole exhuming thing? Why did they rush his burial like that?
Okay. First, to me, let me start from the beginning actually, because I think this matter has been going on since like last year or so, where it was being beaten by Naira Marley and the gang and everybody. They beat this guy, blew back, injured him and all. And I think he made the live video then when he was telling everybody, he was telling the whole world, his fans and everybody, that see what I'm going through. this is what I'm going through. And he made mention of it that if anything should happen to him, then is they should hold Naira Marley or the Malian record them accountable for his death. So I think, if we look at previous years and previous preceding things that have been happening in the Nigerian music industry, we'll notice that at a particular point in time, there's always this tussle within the artist and their managers that I want to leave this record label. It has always been something that's been recurrent over the years. We have the likes of Kiss Daniel, we have the likes of Wande, we have different artists like Lil Kesh. We also have Lighter, all artists like that. These things happen, like it's very common to happen. But we never knew that this one, the levity of this one was so serious that could actually cost the artist's life. So I think then, as the usual Nigerian thing now, everybody will feel, oh, this guy will eventually move on. These things happen on the norms. Although in a sane country or in a situation where everything is in good order, these things are not something that are even supposed to just let it slide. Because how can you beat somebody, or because he's your artist or something like that? How can you be beating him up and we just let it slide like that? But we believe due to our Nigerian negligence, we felt, oh, this thing has been happening. It's not something that is new. It will get over it. With time, it will leave the record label. If we also take a in-depth look at Mohbad's lyrics after that, we will also notice that it was also kind of like being boastful or throwing subtle jabs at Naira Marley, which can also give us the mentality that, okay,
he's
this
fighting
guy
back or
is
he's handling it.
Yeah, he's handling it. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because he was throwing subtle jabs at Naira Marley when he mentioned that the Naira is dropping, this one, they can't catch him again. He has left, this and that. You understand what I'm trying to say? So in our subconscious, we would also feel like, oh, I think this thing is going off. Just after his death, we now saw that this guy was going through a lot under that. He was being beaten up when he was trying to make a video shoot with Zlatan, all these things that we saw after. We never knew this guy went through all these things, and his death was like just like an eye opener to us that, oh, because even then, Naira Marley came out with some evidence that he beat one of his artists too, that he beat one of his close friends. That he was even showing us the mark that the guy was insane, that he wasn't all right upstairs. He said those things, and let's be sincere, there are so many Naira Marley fans then that was like, it's true. And they stick to Naira Marley. They went by what he said because they felt Naira Marley was saying the truth. Everybody bought the idea that, oh, this guy wanted to leave Malian's record due to some, maybe their personal rift and all. We never knew this thing was like really, really deep. So when he died, the only thing I felt should have been the case was that there are some artists that could have helped them. But I believe Naira Marley's, I don't know. They say the industry thing is like a carcass. So I think they couldn't interfere so much. They felt this thing is like their in-house affair. So they couldn't interfere in their in-house affair. So they felt they will resolve these things by themselves. I don't know. It's like a medicine after death though. But I felt it should have maybe moved up to some higher people, maybe like the likes of Bonner, Davido and all. Maybe they could provide solution, because the likes of Bella and stuff that he was with, they are not so, I don't know how to put them, their feet are not so sound yet. So that aside, the death and everything, the way it was buried, that thing it was very appalling. Very, very appalling. We never knew what happened, the situation that led to his death. We know when Naira Marley posted that thing, all those questions he asked, in our church mind, we will feel like, oh, this guy is actually asking a good question.
The right
But
questions.
he's not in the position to ask those questions.
Those questions.
Because they are the most intelligent questions the Nigerian police are supposed to be asking, not Naira Marley. Naira Marley is not in the position to ask those questions, because this guy, he was dead. They declared him dead. A guy posted a video of him in the car and he was crying. Who is this guy? What led to his death? How did he get to where he was before the death? Why was he buried on time? These things are situations that the Nigerian police should look into, because this guy is dead. He was not a Muslim, for Christ's sake. Why was he buried so fast? Even the way he was buried was not even looking good.
Honestly,
for an artist of that caliber, he was not supposed to be buried like that. He was not even buried where his colleague could reach there, because they were scared. Look at the people surrounding the place he was buried.
Even though the few people that went, I think they said they had to face some area boys. They
were
had to give them
harassed.
money. They were harassed and things like that.
So I will not really blame the artists that couldn't attend, because it's not a safe ground for them. And if you look at the situation truly, you will notice that it's not a safe ground for anybody. The kind of people that were there, and even when the guy was even buried, look at the way he was buried. I
Like,
don't know if anybody noticed it. It wasn't even. They said the coffin was not his
they
size.
did not do a proper thing at all. In fact, unfortunately, I don't know why. Just like James said earlier, we are always too quick to just pull out our phones and record the
And
moment
record things.
rather than do something that would make the moment better.
Did they not notice these things there?
Exactly.
You guys saw this guy. He was bent. His neck was bent in the coffin. It's not even like it is the
Yeah.
poorest of the poorest way to bury a celebrity. And when his dad was asked what happened, his dad was like, "I'm not even using this based on ASA or whatever. I'm
Yeah,
using
the
this based
actual
on my
video.
judgment.
Mhm.
Based on my judgment, I'll say the dad was sounding like he was under duress. He's trying to like filter what he's going to say. I don't think he's saying those things because those are the things that he wanted to say. They are the things that maybe like scripted for him to say.
See.
And that is being we as citizens not even having the psychological knowledge enough to see these things like the police or these people will do.
Yeah.
But the police are not seeing these things.
You know what, Adayo, one thing I know about Nigerian police is when they want to do their job, they know how to do their job. That is one thing I
Exactly.
know about them. And these things, a lot of these things that we're observing and that we're talking about, if they are not just doing publicity stunt or just to just satisfy the public's demand, if they are really planning to get to the bottom of it, they will find enough evidence to tell us eventually what actually happened. And we will start seeing some arrests very soon because I am sure there will be one or two people, even people that are innocent. When they start picking them, they will start telling the story of, okay, this is what happened, and eventually
At
we will
least
know the real truth.
to get to some tangible information. So they need these people. They need these people because even when the Nigerian police, I don't know, is it their public this thing was saying stuff like they are going to make some arrest. These people, I feel like first off, that shouldn't be like your public service announcement. You're telling these people we are going to arrest you in Nigeria, and you tell somebody you want to go and arrest them, and they will not run away.
Yeah. Or they won't even be making more efforts to bury evidence and things like that.
They will bury their evidences. So why are you giving them heads up in a developed country
or a sane society? For a lack of better word.
You don't need to like summon the police in situations like this. It is their duty. They're supposed to be there. They're supposed to be like the first line people there.
As a matter of fact, generally in a case of homicide, or at least suspected homicide, that is when there's a case where there's any suspicion that somebody was murdered, there's no way you get to bury that person.
Exactly.
Police would not even allow it. Because if you bury that person, you can say it constitutes to tampering of evidence.
Exactly.
Because you are trying to cover up something. Why did you quickly rush the burial?
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to be like an accomplice to the murder.
Okay, let me bring Tokpa in. When you heard this gist, what was your own reaction? And from considering everything we've talked about and everything you've also heard, just give us like a quick recap of your own, how you felt towards it and what your own general perception is.
So it's actually a painful thing hearing that a musician that is popular like that, and many of us didn't even know so many of these things that are even coming to light now that happened back then when they scattered the show and stuff like that. But still, like it's something that fine if you contribute to someone's mental health negatively, it's a very very huge factor to one's life ending and stuff like that. But then the circumstances surrounding it is like and growing up in a country like Nigeria, it's very very, it's the things you see when you're growing up, normal things that and people don't attention to, but then you can't start pointing fingers now due to emotions and anything. Fine, it's very very crazy, we know, but it's a very very big accusation, just like you said from the beginning, that we can't point fingers. It's very very complicated, very 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 complicated. Some are saying this and that happened at Ikorodu. What did he go and do at Ikorodu? Well, I just feel like based on the trend and how things have been over the years, I just feel it's something that's just going to wash away. Maybe after a while, just like NSAS, it's going to wash away. So we shouldn't just use emotions and maybe just. I think the biggest thing we just try and do is just save our heads. Let's just save our heads sincerely, because it's just the way of life now. Like the popular Yoruba saying, "Enti to ku ni ti egbe." We can't really say this is what happened, this is what not happened. Because of I said I'll kill you, I'll kill you, does not mean he actually dies tomorrow. I'm the one that killed him tomorrow. There are so many circumstances around it, but then
Yeah.
it's appalling when a big artist like that had to go through so many tribulations. It's very, very appalling. But then it's the life we live in now and the country that we live in. So many things. I'm sure even those like okay, it's because of he is just being popular. We have so many people that have suffered injustice like that.
Even till now, there are people in. I think Sean Kuti was saying something like that. There are people awaiting trial in prisons right now, and
Fighting for
nobody's
them.
saying
No one
anything
is saying
about it.
justice for them. The brother that died in this thing in the north. How many justice? Where did it end? It's just because of the way it is. So let's just try and save our heads and point fingers. We just read the news for our own knowledge and try to be careful and survive. And this is how the things. It happened during the time of Wizkid when he was trying to fight away from Banky W, but Banky W was even being softer and offering him things. Different. Many artists have tried to break away, and we see fights and street, but you don't really know what happens on the inside. For example, look at the case of Portable that they said he was having fight with Kubagidi. And he kept on insisting he does not have fight with Kubagidi. So let's imagine something happens tomorrow. We will all say it was Kubagidi that did something to Portable. But he
Yeah.
claimed he did not have any issues with Kubagidi. Fine, it was different. This one, there are evidences. It's a different ballgame. But because of just like the reverse of one saying, like the evidence of absence is not the absence of evidence. Because of there's evidence, if I did something yesterday, does not mean continuation. I did it tomorrow too.
Yeah, I like the angle you took it to, because sure, one thing that we must realize as people with the kind of things that have happened in this world, sometimes when two people are fighting openly, there are some people that can be in the background that will capitalize on that fight to do evil, and then they will say, okay, they already know that those ones are enemies, so if something happens, that's the person they'll point to. But that's on one side, but on the other side, like a lot of us have alluded to, whether the so and so people are actually the ones that snuffed life out of him at that moment or did something directly that led to his death, or whether they just contributed to it. One thing that the evidence that we've seen has shown is that this guy was tormented for a better part of his life, and they did not allow him enjoy even the little fame he had and the time he had at the top that he should have at least used to enjoy his popularity and his fame. So even if in two things. Number one, police should do their job and find those who are responsible for his death, whether it is the people that are being speculated to have caused it, or maybe there are some other people that are just hiding behind the old razzmatazz and okay, they're already pointing fingers elsewhere. Let's just hide. They should do their job and find those answers. And then on the other part too, even if the people that are being speculated to have caused it are not the ones that directly caused his death, one thing that we know, like James said, is that there should be something that should be done that will make them understand that yes, you may not have killed him, but you cannot do what you have done and just think it is business as usual. It shouldn't just be business as usual. There should be some form of consequence that you should experience for doing that kind of thing to somebody. The most important part of this is the person that is dead, is gone. But now we must be concerned about those who are alive too, so that they don't experience the same thing. There are a lot of musicians that are in tight corners right now with their record labels. There are a lot of people whose lives have been ruined. And also, like Tokwe said, this problem is a reflection of our greater problem as a society in Nigeria, where injustice is just the order of the day. Ordinary oga in carpenter workshop is maltreating the boys that they've kept with him to train, and then somebody too. So it goes from the very bottom to the top. It just seems like everybody just keeps quiet. And like James said, if we see something that we are supposed to react to, our first reactions as Nigerians, as people almost all over the world right now, is to first bring out our phone and start recording, as if everything is a spectacle that we want to see. We don't even get to enjoy the moment anymore, even if it's a fun moment. We want to record it. And funny enough, most of the time, we don't even go back to watch those things that we have recorded.
It's just trying to...
We just store it on our phone and then buy a phone with a bigger memory every year when Apple decides to enslave everybody again. So let me just go around. I want us to say maybe for like 30 seconds or 1 minute so that we can wrap up. Let's just say something about Mohbad. Let me bring James in. What do you want to say just as a final note?
I'll start by saying that from what I've seen in the past few days, I could see that Mohbad was someone that just had life in a very easy way. That just felt like being open and just being cool, just being there was his own thing. That was a picture I saw today when they had a shoot. It was still Malian Records then. They had a shoot. Normally, and some of the other guys, they were holding guns and they took a picture, and Mohbad was at the edge of the picture itself, and all he was holding was a red cup of alcohol. When you hear his audio recordings, you just see this is a normal guy that eats fame. I saw an interview where he was saying he was a carpenter, and from his carpenter work you go to the studio to record, and people were telling him like carpenter money cannot make you blow, you have to that kind of thing. The guy was just a cool guy, and contrary to what someone said earlier, that we should just move on. Yeah, we don't trust the Nigerian justice system, but not trusting the Nigerian justice system, not getting the right kind of attitude from the authorities doesn't mean we have to, as a people, we don't have to condone it by continuing to listen to these people's music. They should feel the effect when it comes to the money they are making. We are the ones making money for them. We stream their songs, we do this, we do that, we call them to shows. When you blacklist them from the industry, they will be phased out, they will be struggling. It's going to affect their income. So when that happens, even though the police doesn't pick them up here, they are living in Lekki, they are traveling as they want to. But once your popularity as an artist begins to diminish, all you are doing is spending money, probably into other businesses, but you would be off the table of relevance. People that didn't even commit crimes or do anything bad to anyone still fell off the wagon. People like Inyanya that's trying to pick his way back. People like Shantizu released a song recently. No one is listening to it. He didn't do anything. So talk less of people that actually
Did
contributed
something.
to someone losing his life, even if they did not, but they made life a living hell for him. I think Nigerians have that moral justification to feel people are already unfollowing them. Nigerians have that moral justification to be like, you've done this, even though nothing happens to you under the law. We know that we will make sure that you are not relevant.
Okay.
You definitely still have his fans, but then they will reduce drastically.
And that means basically they shouldn't be business as usual.
It shouldn't be business as usual at all.
Yeah.
It won't be fair.
Ade, what do you have to say as a final remark?
I would like to say we should actually pay attention to even the most minute details, because just like we said earlier, the young man actually coming out to say quite serious stuff, even in his lyrics, and we not paying attention to it because we felt it's business as usual. We would actually pull out or pull through the whole thing, and we would hear him laugh about it some other day. This has cost the people a lot. So I think we should just be able to actually pay attention to even the most minute details when someone comes out and says, oh, this guy has tried to kill me or something, or this guy is putting up actions I can't live with. Even if we, the people, can't really do much at that particular point, I feel the people ahead, the other organization members in the music industry should be able to actually call out and be like, okay, you people should sit up and don't let something this bad repeat itself.
Okay. Dayo, how about you? Final remark?
Okay. Well, as for my final remarks, I'm to buttress what James said. From the looks of things, I think he's just the kind of person to just want to make a living out of music. Although, in order to make a living out of music, you have to create this personnel to people that, especially being a rapper, you have to create this impression to people that you are a tough guy.
Yeah, bad boy kind of thing.
Bad boy personnel, you understand? So I felt it affected him a little, you understand? It gave us a different outlook to him, and based on the kind of record label it was at first, being the record label that we perceived to be like the the thug life kind of record label, you
Yeah.
understand? So we felt he was strong enough to handle the situation, but he wasn't. It's rather unfortunate that he eventually lost his life in the process. Also to what Temitope said, it was like we should move on or something, but I would not really buy the idea so much. It's not like we can't move on. You know, we always say one thing that we'll move on, but you know, when these things hit home, that is when we feel it the more. It's happening to somebody else. We are onlooking. We are saying, oh, this, but we don't know what might happen tomorrow. Somebody within our nearest homes or our neighborhood or within our family might become a musician or the next big thing. We can't say. So what if things like this as is being seen as the usual, and then these things happen to them? It will then hit home. We will now be like, oh, we should have taken actions back then. So, you know, due to the fact that people are raising their voices, they are lending their voices out, there has been a large turnout of responses. People are coming out as victims. Some people are saying, oh, Naira Marley did this to me back then. This. So these are things that is bringing light to the whole situation and trying to like prevent further escalation of things like this in the nearest future, because if we just let it slide and sweep it under the carpet and we see another record label beating their artists, we say, ah, that's the usual, everybody look another way, and the perpetrator will always be like, oh, I'm doing the right thing, you understand? So we should just try to like
when so and so did it, nothing happened, so nothing will happen.
exactly. So I think we can also lend our little voices. We don't need to be violent about it, but just lend our voices by speaking out about it. It's true, we can say justice for him. We can just, if we can just get the perpetrators to book. It's not about being emotional or anything, but they sniff the life out of somebody's body. It's not on moral standards, ethical, everything. It is bad. So they need to be called to book. And I hope the guys, Mohbad, so rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
And I really, really pray and hope that these perpetrators are brought to book. And please, one last thing. When they were posting this guy's death, I saw a comment under one of the posts that said there should be like a court system for music industry that would help them deal with their issues internally and all, and will also like lead to maybe the Nigerian law, maybe handing them over to the police and all. And somebody immediately mentioned, we don't even trust our own Nigerian government. This thing. How are they going to treat their own within themselves? With there still not be nepotism and this their
Exactly.
As you said also earlier, tell me, it boils down back to our individuality as citizens, as individuals. These things happen in the music industry. Let's not, it's also happening somewhere in the movie industry. It's also happening somewhere, maybe even in football. Yes, in football, nepotism, stuff like this, where you segregate some people due to their connections and influential this thing. You understand? So please, we can do better as citizens of the country. We don't need to be biased with whatever we are doing. And when somebody else is crying for help, we can also help them by paying attention to the minute details, to like they said.
Nice one. Tope, how about you? What's your final remark?
Firstly, I would like to correct the notion I said everyone should move on. That wasn't what I said. I was like, the usual trend is everyone is going to move on at the end. I didn't say we should move on because God is not going to let that happen to us. And I actually hope Mohbad finally finds peace wherever he is. Like what Ade said, then the minute details, paying attention to it and all. But then it's still Nigeria and the society at large, the way we react. And I think some moments after that incident, the consequence posted a suicide note.
That was
Attempt to try to stop that.
Oh,
Sorry. How many of us tried to make attempts to stop? But if it actually happened, would have been like, So it's just always like that. It's just trend. It's just going to be, it's just from my own perspective. We don't even know who actually gave the order. It's just like the answers. Who gave the order? It might have been one godfather, maybe one politician, like, okay, maybe this Malian gang, okay, Mohbad is just the one that is moving south. Let us end him. Maybe from the top, somewhere else. We don't know. We don't know how touchable or untouchable these people are the dead. You get. Imagine taking someone that was literally carried of drug and that smokes in literally all his videos, smokes weed, not cigar.
Make him an ambassador.
NDLA ambassador. So you should know how
I'm the
For a
some
extension
of
of
them
for a
is
non-drug
untouchable.
organization.
You see,
Mm.
so it goes, so it's far beyond what we see in the physical, even than what we think we know. What we think we know sometimes is not even the thing that is actually being there.
That's true.
Mm.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it goes very, very far, like. So we should just try hope that he finds peace and fine for the evidences that are on ground. There needs to be something done about it sincerely. At least in a system, in a society that works well. We don't know if that's going to happen in Nigeria then, but we hope he
Mm.
finds peace wherever he is, and we all find peace and find justice going forward in life for those that are
So
suffering from injustice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amen.
Amen.
just to say a little to what Temitope said about finding rest. Someone said while he was alive, they tortured him a lot, both mentally and physically. That he finally dies, and they had to practically force him into a coffin. So even in death, his body is still not having peace.
Hmm.
So he,
Too
Honestly.
bad. Too bad.
it was just crazy. It was a crazy talk, man.
Too bad.
Honestly, like the general feeling across the country, even for people that didn't really know him, just by
Mm.
hearing the news of everything that happened, it's a feeling of sadness. I think the
Yeah.
last time, if my memory serves me correctly, the last time the music industry I felt this kind of thing was like when Dagreen died. But
Mm.
Dagreen's case, we know he had an accident, and so it was
Accident. Yeah.
kind of easier to accept. It wasn't so easy to accept, but then, but in this case now, knowing fully well that this guy, there are probably people that caused his death and they're working freely. It's something that
Mm.
I think the consensus on this podcast is that it shouldn't be so. They shouldn't go scot
Mm.
free. There should be repercussions for their actions. And
Mm.
generally, I would say another major thing is say no to bullying, because at the end of the day, it comes down to
Mhm.
bullying. It comes down
Mm-hmm.
to a
Mhm.
power play to show, okay, I will show you I have power. And that is all
Mhm.
it's about. If someone wants to be part of your record label, I think in a sane society, it's a contract. There are conditions on the contract that the person signed. Everything
Mhm.
should be done through
Mhm.
legal means. There should be a buyout if the person feels
Mm.
like he's not doing anymore. And all those things. There
And
are
it
people
shouldn't be violating the person's rights, human
right.
rights.
Mhm.
There are contracts that people have signed that even after they've left record label, some of the royalties to their music, the record label still gets part of it because of the contract they signed, which is
They
Mm-hmm.
fine.
can, yeah.
Yeah, that's the agreement. When Two Face wanted to leave Kenny's music, it wasn't smooth because it was their biggest star, but then they came to
Mhm.
terms and it was a time for transition.
Exactly.
Everybody that owns a record label right now, I think maybe for most of them, they were once upcoming stars too who got a
Mm.
chance to set up something. And so now you should pave way for others. You shouldn't now make it become something. And again, I would say maybe we are all looking in the direction of some people. I hope that even if it is not those people, whoever it is, whether it is in the music industry or it is somewhere, we hope the police will do their job to fish them out so that justice
Mhm.
can truly be served
Mhm.
from all sides. So even if it's those we suspect or it is those we are not even talking about, because we can wake up tomorrow now and there will be a new set of evidence that will point in a different direction. Whatever it
Mhm.
is, justice has to be served. That
Mm.
is the
And
consensus.
we hope
Thank
it
you.
is the true justice, not.
Yeah, no, not just let's just give them something.
Mm.
Yeah. So to Ilerioluwa Oladimeji Aloba, also known as Imole Mohbad, we hope you find peace, and we hope that God rest his soul, and we also hope that his family finds the fortitude to bear the loss, and the children. I think he has a son or a daughter, and his
The
wife.
son.
I hope, yeah, that they get all the help they need. I really hope that people turn up for them and they're able to at least have a good life. I think that's where we're going to wrap up this episode, and we hope that this case doesn't just die down. I
Mm.
understand that what Temitope is saying in the sense of the norm in our society is by the time they talk about it for 2 days, people start talking about something else,
Mm.
But that perception is coming from what we have seen, which is the reality in
It's true.
Nigeria.
It's factual,
But
though. It's
yeah,
factual.
but we are hoping that this will not be, it will not go in that direction. There will be something that would be done to at least make people understand that there can be justice in this country for once. Let's be optimistic. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I know we've not heard the last of this issue, and I'm sure the authorities, we want to have faith in the authorities, not because we trust them that much, but because we have no choice. We can't go and call FBI to come and solve a Nigerian murder case. So we have no choice
And we
than
don't
to
want to
trust them.
take the laws into our hands.
Exactly. Rioting or protesting or fighting is not going to serve his memory well, Seth. The best thing is just to hope that the people that have the power to figure this thing out, they do the right thing. Thank you guys for joining me so late this night to talk about this really painful issue. And until next time, I hope our listeners, this episode, like I said before, is dedicated to the memory of Oladimeji Aloba Mohbad, and we hope he finds rest. Till next time, I remain your boy, the boy, as we sign out.
Talk about the things I've done, discuss my right and wrong. While I'm laying dead on floor, when I can't talk no more. If I go look for a house, you will be
too much wahala, bullshit, double wahala for who no get. See when you get money now, believe me, can take a lot to book pocket. Why should they go die young and the badly for long? Where felele, and thank you God, make I no kick pocket. Although I na vanity, but show my jacket, show like him up and shaggy. Come on, no walk him, I won't be on my laggy. Enjoy that, go shape more, I can't